Hey guys, Julian here, and today I'm going to be breaking down house music on 10 levels of complexity. I recently saw a video on Wired, of all places, where this woman broke down melodies and piano music on, I think it was 16 levels of complexity, and she just basically went from the most basic version of a melody all the way up to a fully fleshed out, crazy piano piece. And I'm going to be doing a similar thing here with house music. So, what I've got in front of me here is a kick and a bass. Here's what they sound like. Here we just got punchy kick, nice bass line, very simple as well. It's only 3 notes, but this is really where the groove is coming from. This is the foundation of the track. You know, a lot of people think that when you're dancing along to the drums, but that's not entirely true. The drums do kind of add some flavor over this, as we will talk about in a second, but this is really the foundation of the track. This is what you're really dancing to, and this is where the groove comes from. And if you take any house song of all time ever, I don't care what track it is, and turn off the bass line, it's not going to have nearly as much groove to it. So I would say this is definitely the first level of sort of the most basic foundation of making house music. And this is usually what I start with when I make tracks as well. You know, when you make a track, you don't want to just start with a random hi-hat or a random clap or even a random melodic idea. Maybe you might have an idea going into it, but when you're trying to actually put the track together, these are the things I always start with to just really get like I said, that foundation started. So that's the first level of complexity. The next one would be to bring in some drums over top of this in the form of a hi-hat and a clap. So this is kind of the whole Boots and Cats thing. This is what that is supposed to be like. So I'll get this hi-hat. These are all just my own samples from my videos. If you want to check those out, the link is in the description to get all my sample packs. So we get that, and then maybe we'll grab a clap out of there. So there we go. There's level 2, would be to do something like this. You know, have something a little bit more over top of it. You're still letting the bass and kick shine. That groove is still the main focus here. But now there's something a little bit more over it. You can kind of groove a little bit more with it. The way I think of it is these things are accentuating the things we talked about in level 1. So, like I said, those are always going to be the main thing that you're really grooving along to. But you notice how your head starts bobbing more when I turn these on? There you go. So that would be the second level of complexity. I would say would be to add in something like this over top. Now this feels like an actual groove. So yeah, and then for level 3, the next level, would be to bring in some more percussion over top of this. Like I said, we have now an actual groove. It's not just a bass line and a kick. But there's nothing really special about it. It's just 4 things just kind of going on and on and on. You know, we need to kind of mix some stuff in there and give it a little bit more flavor. So with this, I'll pull up a drum rack. And then we can just grab some different percussions. I'll get that one. We'll get more hi-hats as well, like this one. And we'll get that tambourine. Alright, there we go. So then we can make a little loop in here. Maybe turn the velocity down a little bit there. So there we go. There's another level to it. You can hear like what this is adding now. Again, this isn't like the main thing that's adding the groove. But you can hear now it feels the groove, it's like there's more energy to it. This, the most basic thing, like I said, just the kick and bass. It has the groove, but the energy isn't really there. So these things, as we build these up, now you can hear we've got more and more energy. And like I said, it also just gives it kind of like your own unique flavor. You know, it's like, obviously, anybody can make a kick and bass. But these like further steps in the sort of complexity tree, as we'll call it, are what really give it like your own thing, and where you really have a lot of room to make it unique and exciting. Cool, so the next level here would probably be to add some sort of a simple melodic element. You know, right now, we really just have what's called the rhythm section, like the bass and drums. But we need something that isn't just the rhythm section. We need something that's going to be like something melodic over top of this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to get this M1 piano. This is just a sample that I had in one of my sample packs. This is a very popular piano used for house music. I'm sure you recognize it. It's like that type of sound. And with this, what we'll do is we'll just put in like a little... We're in G minor. So there we go. Now we got that in there. We can maybe give it a bit of release. A bit of chorus as well. But you can hear what this is giving us. Now you hear this. And it feels more well-rounded. It feels like there's just more to this. This is still only 6 layers, really. But you can hear how that is adding even more energy and even more kind of accentuation of the groove over top of everything that we've already built. So, I would say at this stage, that would be level 4. The next level of complexity, level 5, would be to bring in some sort of a theme or some sort of like a vocal, maybe it could be a sample or a melody or something. But now we have the foundation of the track set, we have the groove, we know how it's going to feel, and we need something that is going to, like I said, sort of define this track, and it's going to be the theme of the track. So I'm actually going to call on another sample pack here and get some vocals. I'm thinking maybe something kind of like this. Yeah, like we can take that. And this is something, you know, it's got a lot of color to it. It's got a lot of character to it. Maybe we can chop that up like that. And you can hear what that does. So now this gives us something that feels like it's defining the track. This really feels like a theme to me, like I said. Like, when you hear this track, obviously this stuff can be as good as it can possibly be. Truth is, you're not going to remember that. That is just the stuff that needs to be good because it needs to have a good groove. This is the thing that the listener is really going to remember. When you hear that vocal sample in the club, you're not going to forget it. Especially amongst like all these other tracks where people are using all other kind of different stuff. So maybe we'll put a bit of echo on that. There we go. Finding the piano a little. So there we go. So that would be the 5th layer, or the 5th level of complexity. Like I said, is like a theme. You want to start with really the groove and getting the foundation set, and then bring in this idea. And like I said, you can start the track with this idea. There's nothing wrong with that. Like it's always a great thing when you hear a sample like this in a sample pack, or you hear a sample in a track, or maybe you come up with a cool melody or something, and then you just kind of like, that inspires you to start a whole track. There's nothing wrong with that, but what you want to do is get that and then just kind of push back and focus on, like I said, these first 4 or 5 layers of complexity here. So next level, level 6, will probably be some mixing and optimization of the sounds. And what I mean by this is, we have a lot of sounds here, and it sounds pretty solid. But we don't really have everything as powerful and as fat as it can be. And as a result, this isn't really going to stand up against other tracks. This is a very, very important step. I would say this is just as important as like getting your main foundational stuff in there. It's just really trying to optimize everything and make sure it is as full and as fat and as powerful and as well mixed as it can be. So what I'll typically do, I'm sure you guys who watch my videos know this one, is I'll put like the kick and bass in a group, maybe put a bit of drum bass on that to saturate them, kind of glue them together. Here's before that. And then like I said, you can hear this is being optimized now. It feels like it's like we're getting the most power and fullness out of it that we can. Also, like to put a little EQ on there. So then from there, I'll usually put like all the percussion into a group and do a similar thing with this one. I'll put a little bit of reverb on there. That helps to kind of tie everything together. The goal of the step is, like I said, to optimize everything and make it as close together and as tight as you can. So like putting some reverb on here and putting some saturation on here, you're adding the same texture and the same color to everything. And it's going to make your percussion sound a lot closer together. And just overall tighter. There we go, and then I'll put a little bit of drum bass on this piano stab. Just to make it fatter. We'll put like a fast echo as well. And then with this one, we'll just saturate it a bit. And cut some low end out. So now you can hear after this step, like I said, you can really hear that the track feels a lot more exciting. And just optimized, like it just sounds a lot stronger now. We're getting the most out of everything that we can. So the next step after this, level 7 of complexity, I would say would be to have some sort of automation or movement with your sounds. You know, if you just have this same 8-bar loop the whole time through, where like if I like say you have this as a full structure, if I skip from here to here and it's the same thing, that's not going to be good. So you need to give it some automation to give your sounds some movement and kind of change them and bring them to life. So to do this, I'm going to actually play with this M1 here. And I'm going to add a reverb. And what we'll do is we'll put it before the drum bus. And I'm just going to do like some interesting automations with the dry wet on here. We can maybe like do something like this. And we'll like duplicate that there. And then do another one of those reverb automating up things. And you can just hear how like this is bringing the sound to life now. You know, it's just not like that same the whole way through, but it's got something to it that you can kind of sink your teeth into, your metaphorical teeth. That is. That gives it some movement, and also we'll do a little bit of automation after the next step as well. But yeah, so you can hear that's really bringing it to life even more. I'm not just adding a bunch of elements. I'm not just trying to layer a ton of things together. I'm taking these main things that I have and using them to build this up and make this more and more complex here. And this is what you want to think about when you're making a track. Now, the next level of complexity, I would say, would be arrangement. A lot of people can make cool loops like this. But to take it and turn it into a full song structure can be a bit tough for people a lot of the time. And I'd say this is definitely like one of the things that is just as important as like getting a solid kick and bass and getting solid percussion and all those kind of things. Like if your arrangement isn't really that good, you're just not going to properly build tension and make your track have like the right energy to it. So what I'm going to do for my arrangement here is I'm going to do a pretty simple one. We're going to take this and actually just duplicate it over. And then what I'm going to do is in the intro here, we will have the kick and bass. It's going to have like a high pass filter on it, and then we're going to automate that. So there's another automation there. Again, mix the track so it's not just the same thing the whole way through. But yeah, we can do like this. And then maybe that'll cut out right here. Drop comes, we can be a little bit more sparse with the vocal. Maybe do like something like that, like chop it. And you can hear this builds the energy in the track. It makes it so that it's not just like, obviously you can't just duplicate this over and over and over and call it a track. The arrangement is really where you can, take these elements and use them to tell the story you're trying to tell with the track. So in the next level of complexity, level 9, would be to add some sort of effects. Effects are very important in house music. And what I mean by effects would be like the things you hear like and little like building snares and stuff like that, kind of like building the track up and, like I said, kind of helping to guide the story. It's like the idea of a track is you're trying to tell a story, and these elements are kind of like the characters. If you think of this in terms of like storytelling, like writing a book or a movie or something like that, the effects would be more like kind of like your setting. Like that's kind of what helps pull the characters through the story and what like causes certain things to happen that help to tell your story. So for effects here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few. I'm going to start with operator here, and we're going to just make a big, long white noise sweep. We just make a long note there, change this to some white noise, add a bandpass filter. There we go. And then we could also add in like a crash here. Let's use that one. I'll pitch it up a little. And then we'll group these together and add some reverb on them as a group. Typically like to put my effects in the same group. Makes things a little bit easier. There we go. Maybe we just cut out a little bit of low end on the crash. But yeah, so there it is. So those would be the first 9 levels. The last level here would be to put it all together and hear what it all sounds like. We've got the foundation, we've got some stuff on top of it, we've got some stuff to kind of like make it a bit more interesting and make it as powerful and as full as possible. And then we've got some effects, which are, like I said, kind of helping to carry the characters in our story along and help tell the story. So here's what everything sounds like all together. Cool. So that's gonna be it for this one, guys. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, I wanted to make something a little bit more interesting. I feel like just making the tutorials every day is cool, but I also like doing stuff like this where we kind of like explain and explore like concepts of music production and not just like here's how you make a kick, here's how you make a bass line. So I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments. This project file is going to be available for all patrons on my Patreon, so if you want to check that out, that is in the description. And if you're already a patron, go check that because it's been available for a while. If you guys want to support me, definitely Patreon is a great way to do it. You can also check out all my sample packs in the description and preset packs and project files and all that kind of stuff that I have for sale. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.